Let's talk about something that's quite a lot happening these days. Evil speaking of the Lord's anointed. A great deal of persecution is going on the social media against the apostles and prophets of the true church. Persecution of the saints, the true followers of Christ, has been going on for a very long time, even from the beginning, when Cain murdered Abel. But now that we're coming to the end, Satan is intensifying his efforts because he knows that his time is short and he wants to take down as many as possible with him to his miserable hell. He uses all kinds of sophistry and methods and people to do his work. He is using social media now with great success, and the people he uses to deliver his lies and angry rhetoric come from all walks of life. Over the last few months, I've had time to listen to many of their attacks on the true Church of Jesus Christ and the apostles and prophets, and I've come to the conclusion that they are doing much damage to themselves, their families and their congregations, and they are wasting their time kicking against the stone. Daniel saw this and interpreted that this stone was a church in the latter days. Thou sawest till, and he's interpreting King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, not man-made, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them in pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, and the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. And then Daniel prophesies of a church. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Since I was baptised 58 years ago into the true Church of Jesus Christ, I've had opportunities to discuss Daniel 2 with different anti-church leaders and preachers, and we all agree on Daniel's interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, to the point where the stone is cut out of the mountain without hands. They don't know what that means, so they halt or falter at that point. Latter-day Saints know what that is and what it will do. As Daniel says, it will break in pieces and consume and become a great mountain in the latter days. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is that stone spoken of in King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, interpreted by Daniel, and it is in the process of breaking in pieces and consuming all of these churches and kingdoms, and nothing can stop it or hinder its progress. The first persecutors of the prophet believed that if they killed the prophet or murdered Joseph Smith, that would be the end of the stone. But how wrong they were. Beginning with God's visit to one farm boy in 1820, and raising him up and teaching him and visiting him with angels and restoring authority of the priesthood to this farm boy and 6 other authorized ordained apostles in a farmhouse in 1830, started the stone rolling. The opposition was intense and persecution raged, but the Lord Jesus Christ was not going to allow this church to be exterminated like the early saints, Peter, James and John and co, 2,000 years ago. Yes, Satan has had his reign for 2,000 years now, and his hour has come to be shut down. And in Revelation chapter 20, verse 2, this is the end of him. And he laid hold on the dragon, referring to this angel, then he is referring to Satan, that old serpent which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. If we go back to chapter 18, it tells us about this church that is going to be dismantled. And 7 times John refers to things that will be found no more at all in thee. So if you go back to the second verse, it says that this cage, which was the habitation of all unclean and filthy spirits and birds and whatever, which is these filthy priests in the hierarchy of the Catholic Church. He then goes on to explain what was going to be found no more at all in the church. That was weddings and funerals and all the things that they made money of, all their trading and their financial exploits and schools, and everything's going to be shut down through this destruction of the churches of the dioceses. So that's in place now, but anybody who wants to really search it out can match it for themselves with chapter 18 of Book of Revelations. The news tells us about it every single day. Yeah, I know it's true because I've been able to match it up myself. Thank you for listening.